Sean, you had Kevin Byard to the secondary. What do you like about bringing him in? How does he fit what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a great veteran, had a lot of success in this league, has played in a lot of different defenses, really smart, great leader. I've gotten great reports out of it, so really excited to get him into the room and get him going.
What will the process be like trying to integrate him?
Pretty similar to the process we've had these last few weeks of getting different guys ready to play in the back end. The great thing is he's got a lot of wealth of experience that he can rely on. So we anticipate being pretty smooth. You know, Coach McDonald will meet with him extra, and Coach Johnson and Coach Williams, they'll all get with him extra, like we have been with a lot of the guys, you know. And so he'll be kind of just on par with that.
You have experience playing in a couple of different spots on defense, you know, deep in the box and the slot. I guess how much does that versatility, how much of a resource is it for you?
Yeah, I think you've seen it really with our defense over these first 7 weeks is we value that. You know, and we teach that way, we train it, and that's kind of how our system has been installed. And so he'll fit right into that. And then as we grow with him in this defense, do what we feel like he's best at and what he feels he's best at.
Do you have any input on anything like that, or do you just come and say, hey, Sean, you have Kevin Byard this week? I mean,
No, I mean, I think Howie, like I told you guys last week, you know, they do a great job of staying ahead of everything. And then as decisions get close, you know, we're always in the know, and you know, he gathers information and our opinions and everything. And then obviously I'm focused on the game playing, but after that, you know, they make their decisions and what's best for the team. And so I trust Nick and Howie fully on that element, but they gather our information also.
When you got a chance to take a look at him, is he still as good as he was when he was an All-Pro? And he's a little older now.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's a weird question to answer. He's really good. Yeah, I think he's still a really good safety. I don't know what was and what, you know what I mean? I still think he's a really good safety in this league. He's going to be a really good addition for us.
When Roby gets back, you'll have 4 players in that secondary who are, you know, 30 and older, real established players. What's the value in it from your perspective in that experience?
Oh, I think that is the value, the experience. Is the guys that have played a lot of football and seen a lot of football, we can always rely on their bank of knowledge. And we're growing that. And the good thing is, in this first part of this season, a lot of our young guys have had to grow up and gain some experiences. And they've done a good job of embracing that. And our coaching staff has done a good job of getting them prepared to do that. So, you know, this league is about that. You know, having experiences, going through some things, and whether it's winning or losing, you know, you got to go through those trials and tribulations to callous yourself a little bit and get better. And we're doing that.
Eli Ricks.
You know, I like his length. I like his mentality, his toughness. He's a competitor, and so he's kind of shown that. And he's a sponge. You know, he keeps wanting to learn and grow in his roles on the defense, and he's done that.
How's he able to jump in and out at such a young age?
I think it's a credit to our teaching. Like I said, you know, it's a big core philosophy of ours. You know, through the organization from Nick on down, is that we want to be great teachers. We want to be great with our fundamentals and techniques, and that transcends into that DB room with, you know, obviously Coach McDonald, Coach Johnson, and then Coach Williams, you know, when he's working with the nickels, is to be able to teach that. And we pride ourselves on that, and we've done a good job of it, and we got to continue to do a better job at it.
Sean, how did Sidney Brown play the other night?
Yeah, he did a good job. You know, he did a good job. It was his first time. I know it was a exciting and emotional game for him to be out there. He's such a competitor. He played physically in the spots that we need him to play physically at. Came down in the box and did a good job communicating. So I think it was a good game for him to kind of get his feet wet and get going.
When it comes to Slay's interception, is there a teaching point to that, or is that football IQ when a veteran player kind of peels off and does something like that?
No, you know, I think the biggest thing for us is the teaching points are kind of pre-snap and awareness, you know, and all the things that we teach in our techniques and fundamentals. And then, like we tell all the guys, like, they got to go and play the game, you know, and he's a guy that's got a lot of experience, and he saw what he saw, and he saw it right, where, you know, that guy was running a little bit of skinny post, the other guy was wheeling up on him, the quarterback's looked wide outside, and he had his guy covered, and then you trust the post safety is going to be able to help there, and then once the quarterback's hands get off the ball, he can go, and he did. And he made a great play for us at a critical situation. So that's a credit to him, man. That's why they call him Big Play.
Your run defense last year wasn't your run defense, but the run defense was ranked middle of the pack last year. It's ranked first now. What's kind of been, you know, the genesis for that sort sort of turnaround?
Again, I can't speak to last year, because I wasn't here, so I don't want to. Really, for us, and this is our defense here, our players are making this come to life, and our front coaches with Coach Rocker and Coach Washburn really have a point of emphasis there. I mean, they talk about every week of you got to earn the right to rush the passer, and the way to earn the right is to knock the run out. And that's a core philosophy of what they believe in, what I believe in, what we believe in as a defense and as a staff and as players. And so they take a lot of pride in that. And from a stack backer position, I think Coach Elliott's done a tremendous job of teaching these guys the fits that we want and how we want to play different schemes, our schemes versus their schemes, whether in a post-high defense or a split safety defense, and how we want to stack and fit on some of those backers. And then using our support, I thought the DBs did a great job with the secondary support this last game, because we knew they were going to try to attack some edges, and they were able to come up and set some edges for us.
If I can combine two edge rusher questions in one, Nick said Josh Sweat was the defensive player of the game. What did he do to earn that, number one? And then two, Hassan Reddick is known for his sacks. We get a big effect in the run stopping there. What stood out about his run stopping?
Yeah, I think, again, you got to credit Coach Washburn over there with there's a certain style of play that we want to have. And you guys have heard it from me speak about the defensive style. But what our coaches do is they bring that style to their players, and they transcend it to their room, and that's what was been done there. And so with Sweaty, he played a physical game all around in the run and the pass, had a couple big sacks for us and a couple big plays, impacted the quarterback, had a really good job on two of them, I think, of retracing on screens, coming out of stack. Like, those are critical plays that we need those guys. Otherwise you're short in the screen game if those guys don't come out of the stack. And Fletcher had one that he ran down. Jordan and Milton both ran out of the stack. So all those guys being able to do that and own that is critical for us to play good team defense. And then Haas, that's right, everybody wants to talk about the sacks and everything, but to get 2 TFLs on the first 2 possessions versus that run game is pretty dynamic. And he was able to set that tone early, and it was with his physicalness, with his line that Coach always talks about this 9 line that he talks about, Coach Washburn with his guys, and they're doing it, they're trusting it. And then you see, and I think our guys have seen it, the more you trust and you keep repeating the techniques and everything, you see the plays being able to be made.
Your defense has done well against 2 like Shanahan kind of offenses. I know obviously there's a lot of differences there from the scheme, from that basic scheme. But what do you think has lended to yourself having success against all that motion? Obviously they run unconventional routes. Why do you think you guys have had success against them?
I think our coaches and players have done a good job in their preparation. I think we spend a lot of time here on Monday and Tuesday really trying to, we call it the story tape, figuring out what story we want to tell our players of what we think the offense is going to do, what are they doing on tape, and what they think they're going to do to us based on the style of football that we play. So we build that, and then we kind of send that message to the players, and the players buy into it. And then at the end of the day, it's those guys executing. Right, it's the players executing on the field. I'm on the sideline just trying to stay warm. You know what I'm saying? It's those guys executing the calls and the plan that we're giving them, and the coaches giving them those calls throughout the week and making them feel confident that they can go ahead and make plays. And they're doing it. I think the guys are feeling that through our preparation and hard work during the week, and we stay on that process, that the game should be easier because we practice harder, and we try to replicate looks, and we try to really be detailed with that all those assignments.
Did Vic have any words for you after the game?
He was upstairs. I talked to him. I talked to him before the game, and he's, like I said, a great mentor, and it was a good conversation.
What was it like getting this guy Scott back in the defense, and how did his familiarity help him on the game day?
Yeah, I think it was great. It's just another guy who's been around our guys, and so the familiarity was the biggest thing. Is we've had some moving pieces with the layers of communication that we've had to manage on the back end, and I think our coaches have done a tremendous job of getting those guys prepared. But it's another calming voice that guys have some familiarity with, and you saw his poise and his presence out there, and he did a tremendous job for us as well. That play that he made on Tyreek Hill and swarming him up there was really good.
I know last week you talked about the linebacker role, kind of mixing guys in and out. This week we saw Cunningham play all of the defensive snaps. What did you like about him in this matchup against the Dolphins?
Well, I think all of our guys, and we want to continue to rotate guys, and we'll continue to do that with Zach also. But, he's such a long, rangy guy that's got good speed and can play on the edges of the defense and is really physical versus blocker. So he did a good job in that role, and Nick and Nakobe also did a tremendous job in their roles this week. And we'll continue to roll all those guys through, because again, it's about obviously staying healthy for one game, but really getting through this whole season healthy and with continuity. And when you got guys with the depth that we have that we feel good about playing, then might as well play them.
In limiting big plays.
I think the big part of it was obviously playing physically up front, right? Having great anticipation in terms of the coverage and the disguises that we presented and the route distributions that we were expecting. You know, putting our guys in spots to make sure they understood that this is where these targets were going to come and where they were going to go, and we need to defend these parts of the field and these routes in these parts of the field. And I think our guys really bought into that last week through the week of preparation. The coaches really showed it to them, and they sold it, and the guys bought into it, and you saw, and we weren't perfect. You know, I mean, we still gave up some big plays that we know we got to clean up, but that's part of this process. You know, we don't anticipate being perfect right now. You know, we want to keep growing.
I think Washington was the team that allowed you most yards, I think, and points you guys allowed. What's the challenges of seeing them, I guess, almost within a month?
You know, I think you just try to approach it like any other game. Obviously, you saw them against you. There's a little bit of history and of recent history with them. But, you know, we got to go in and take the mindset of we got to put our best foot forward, prepare the way we need to prepare, and get a plan together that we think puts our players in the best position to do to counteract what they do. And they have a lot of skill. You know, they have a lot of good pieces on that offense that can move the ball, and you've seen it throughout this year. And so, you know, we'll get going on that today and give our guys our plan tomorrow.
Do a couple more. Seems like you're getting such a high level of buy-in from your players. How do you think you've earned that, and how do you think that has taken place?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. You know, I think I can't tell you how I've earned it. I can tell you just the process I go about. You know, it's about being authentic, being real with them. I think I hope they respect the preparation and the ability for us to put them in positions to make plays and for their talents to shine, because it's ultimately about them, you know, on the field executing. And then our level of detail in our preparation and our teaching, we hope can help them feel more confident to trust themselves and go make plays. And then we try to give them some liberties of owning the defense, taking ownership of the calls within the defense. And when there's tools and different adjustments that need to be made, we give them the rubrics of what to do, and you know, they've been owning it, you know, and then that allows them to play a little bit to their strengths. And so that's really what we try to do. And that's, you know, we try to be consistent with that. You know, our approach tries to be consistent. You know, you guys see my personality. I try not to get too high or too low. It's a process mode. You know, we're in this process right now, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep going through however long they tell us to keep going through.
You mentioned on the radio this morning that you took these guys out to play ping pong not too long ago. Can you give us a little insight of what happened there and what was the impetus of that?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's something I've liked to do in these roles, and you know, I haven't been in this role too long. But I learned it from some other people that, you know, at the end of training camp, we tried to just do a little event to get us together. And it's about connecting, right? That's what we're about as an organization. It's about connecting. It's just a different avenue to connect. I had a ping pong table growing up, so I had to brush off some of my old skills and take it to it. Yeah, that's good. He better have, because I beat him. No.
As a follow-up to both those questions, how are you different or better as a coordinator the second time around or the second year than the first year?
Yeah, I think I'm just you keep growing, you know, and that's part of this teaching mindset that I have, is that you got to keep growing, you got to keep evolving. I'm a better coordinator than I was in week 1. I'm a better coordinator than I was 2 weeks ago. You know, I just keep growing and keep self-evaluating and assessing and reflecting on things that I think I got to do better to help our coaches and our players be the best that they can be. And if I fail them in certain respects, in certain weeks or certain moments, I got to improve that. And that's part of my process, you know, after the game and going into Monday of what I can do better, because it starts with me. And then so I try to be very authentic with that and let the guys know, hey, man, I screwed this one up. You know, that's not me. You guys, I take this one on the chin. And I think that's how you build those relationships, through authenticity.
Trying to make guys feel that ownership of the defense, where does that come from?
I don't know. That's a great question. I would say just being around a lot of different coaches and staffs I've been a part of. You know, I try to pride myself on my own background in terms of educational background and leadership. And it's just something I believe in. You know, I think you got to be able to let guys play freely, you know, and within the structure of the defense, knowing when they can take their shots. I mean, we've got playmakers, and so they got to know when they can go make plays. And that's our job, is to provide them those opportunities to go make plays when we need them to. And that doesn't mean you violate the defense or violate those people around you, but that's also building that connection amongst all 11. You know, they're a team. They got to do it all together. You know, it can't just be one guy saying, hey, this is my turn to go make a play. Well, the other 10 guys better be understanding the same thing. And that's part of our preparation that we try to take them through.